Good evening, everyone. I'm Rod Wood. Major developments tonight in the Bernie Fine sex abuse investigation. The former assistant SU basketball coach will not be facing any federal criminal charges. After a nearly year-long investigation, the U.S. Attorney's Office says there's insufficient evidence to prove an inappropriate relationship between Fine and two former ball boys, Bobby Davis and Michael Lang. Prosecutors say they made their conclusion after interviewing more than 100 witnesses and reviewing more than 100,000 pages of documents. Fine's lawyer issued a statement on his behalf saying he praised that the lesson learned and remembered is that a rush to judgment has irreversible consequences. Kerry's in now with an attorney for more on how this shakes out in the legal world.
All right, Rod, thank you. Bernie Fine in that statement saying he is innocent, maintaining his innocence, but today's development does not prove him innocent or guilty. This is a matter of technicality and what the evidence could or could not support. I'm joined now by Syracuse criminal defense attorney Ed Menken. Welcome.
Good evening, Kerry. Thanks for having me.
You are welcome, and we're glad to have your legal perspective. For the purposes of today's decision, what does it really mean?
Well, the announcement by the United States Attorney's Office is, in the first instance, unusual. I mean, they don't announce that, okay, well, we're not investigating this thing anymore. It's not much more, and I've read their press release and statement carefully, but it's not much more than a statement that we don't find anything sufficient to go forward with. It's not a vindication of Bernie Fine or his family or anything like that. It's carefully worded to say we've interviewed 130 people, we've read 100,000 pages, we've done this tremendous amount of work. We've invested, I mean, a lot of government money was spent on this. I don't want to look at that payroll.
Yeah.
You know, all kinds of agencies involved. At the end of the day, there simply isn't enough to go forward. It's not a note from the doctor, please excuse Bernie from going to school, you know, he's fine. It's not a vindication in any respect. It's simply a statement that there is not sufficient evidence to bring charges here. And because of the notoriety of the case, the confluence of the matter with the Jerry Sandusky tragedy in Pennsylvania, the media is all over this. I understandably, the United States Attorney wants to speak out and at least say, we're done with this.
Bernie Fine's lawyer today used the phrase rush to judgment. And so between that and the other sort of side of this, where people are saying, well, what about victims of sex abuse and the statute of limitations limits how long they can come forward. I want to play for you part of an interview that I did with Bobby Davis last December, in which he talked about what it's like to be a victim. Listen to this.
I want to live in a world someday where when a kid comes forward or a sexual abuse victim comes forward, that they are believed, you know, and take them serious, you know, like, and then let's investigate it and find out, you know, and if it is true or not, you know. But I hope that someday we can be believed, you know, on our word.
So in light of today's decision, react to that, and what should we take away from this whole thing?
Well, you know, to be fair about it, I don't think that the statement or the issuance of the statement by the United States Attorney is a rejection of Bobby Davis. In fact, I think to the contrary, the larger statement to be made to victims or people who claim they've been victimized is, we will move heaven and earth for you. I mean, and we will look into this as carefully as we can. I do think that victims of sexual abuse, you know, should take some degree of heart and confidence in the fact that the United States Attorney and the District Attorney's Office intensively investigated. But there's a difference between making an allegation that Gloria Allred can base a lawsuit on and bring in an indictment or criminal charges, and basing the termination of somebody's employment.
Let's talk about that, because
sure.
You know, can Bernie Fine now sue Syracuse University and say, you know, wrongful termination. Would you take that case?
Would I take that case?
Yes.
Well, your hypothetical is bordering on fiction. I mean, he has first-rate lawyers, number one. Number two, I don't think Bernie's going to be calling me on that subject.
But if he did, just for the purposes of this conversation, humor us.
But you know, his concern, I would think, is leave me alone already. I mean, you know, there's in our country, there's a United States Department of Justice. There's no United States Department of getting my reputation back. And to institute a lawsuit, to go over this all over again, would just, you know, revivify the entire episode. That's number one. Number two, there's a world of difference between bringing criminal charges based on probable cause and proof beyond a reasonable doubt and the grounds you have to fire somebody. You know, and there's a world of difference between those two levels of proof. You want my opinion?
Yes.
I don't think Bernie would be well advised. I don't know if he's listening out there, but I don't think he'd be well advised to bring that kind of lawsuit.
Let it go.
Gesundheit, hey, goodbye and good luck.
All right. Thanks for the translation, Syracuse attorney Ed Menken. Rod?
Thank you, Carrie.